Bonnie, I'm bringing you up to stage. Welcome to stage. Hello. Hi. Did you hear what I asked Sasha? She has to come up with a question.
I got it.
Great.
Honey, I have a question for you to start us off. So today you are a superhero. You are where you are doing what you're doing, you are amazing. So as a superhero, what is your backstory?
Ooh.
Wow, you got me stumbled.
Everybody's like, how do I prepare? And I'm like, just be you. And then we ask questions like this.
Right? And then how do you prepare? Because I didn't grow up with super stories, super powers, super nothing.
Basically, we want to know, like, how did you get into this kind of work that you're in today? There's some sort of origin or backstory. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
That's really what we want to know.
Well, actually, now that you say, now I imagine myself. Okay, cool. Thanks for the kind of a push, Laura.
You're
Well,
welcome.
actually, my superpower, I would say, came about because of being like totally pissed off.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, being angry at people, being angry at the kind of like a medical community that doesn't empower, doesn't give people the tools, the kind of a pathway or beliefs that they have so much power that they can heal themselves, that they can live pain-free, that doesn't matter what age you are or what you have, if you look hard enough, you can find the solution to your pain. Whether it's me or someone else, doesn't matter. So yes, my superpower came from being pissed off. I'm gonna go with that.
I'm going to celebrate with you just owning that. You're like, you know what? I was mad. We don't really talk about anger a whole lot. So thank you, because there is a healthier way to express that. And that's what you're doing through the work that you do. So Ani, what is it that is your superpower then?
Well, I'm a pain resolution practitioner, which means I help people, overcome whether it's chronic pain, acute pain, but I do it in so many different ways. If you're in my clinic, I would help you with manual therapy, very advanced, unique. As my last new client called me the voodoo that you do. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna use that because that's awesome. But I also love teaching people self-help techniques because, imagine you wake up in the morning and you have like slept funny or whatever, and these techniques that boom, you can do it and overcome pain instead of just suffering all morning or the days, But I also incorporate functional nutrition and genetic testing because imagine knowing how your body reacts to your environment based on your specific genes that you got from your parents, the food you eat, the lifestyle choices you make, and you can create a personalized plan based on that. It's not that's all you have to do based on your genes, but it's a foundational thing that we can create personalized plan that is unique as you are in your own thing. And it's just fun. It's like being a detective. Let's figure out how we can help you. Because if I get two people with exact same symptoms of pain, my approach or action steps to each of them is completely different. So there is no one plan fits all.
I love that. And I want to expand on the fact that another layer to your superpowers is that you do take the time to personalize. There are many businesses that are like, I'm just going to generalize because I can sell that and package that and promote it so easily. But really, the job of an entrepreneur is to not impart knowledge like it used to be. We can find that on the internet, basically anywhere. But you're going to help us understand that knowledge. So high five to you.
It's the one, what was it, yesterday or day before when we were talking, when I was listening, you mentioned someone about finding your why is usually throughout the years, and I've been doing this almost 3 decades, and people are like, oh, you need to systemize it and then sell it. I'm like, but yes, I understand, at one point, but every patient doesn't matter. Yes, you put in an intake form, this is what you have, this is your like MRI diagnosis or your blood works, you bring it to me. But I don't know exactly what I need to do until we talk. You may say one word or one sentence and this light bulb will go on. Like, yes, that's where it's from. That's what I need to do. I don't know until I feel or I palpate or whatever. I don't know. So it makes it very personal, very unique.
Ani, I wanna jump into this because this is such an important topic, and there's a lot of conversation coming out to the surface now about the invisible illnesses, about how a person might look okay on the front, but then they're struggling with something chronic in the background that you might not even know about. So having had that experience myself over the last couple of years, I have found that going to the first thought is, I'll just go to the doctor and the doctor will help. The doctor will provide the solutions, the doctor will provide answers, and you go and they don't. And it took me a while to understand even remotely like why, like what's going on. Am I just crazy? It's in the head? The whole, the stages of grief is the same thing, I feel like. So in your from your experience, what is the point where that person has the aha moment of, okay, maybe that is not the right direction for me to take to find a solution for my health situation? And when do they come to you?
So thanks for asking that question. Most of the time, the clients that I see in my clinic, they've already been to a doctor. They've already been to different practitioners. And even though they feel a little better, but there's something that, it's not a complete solution. They still have that little pain, or they just don't feel 100%. And I love that, not that they don't feel good, but a lot of times, especially I love our medical system, because if you have acute anything, we are like one of the best. Unfortunately, our medical system treats acute and chronic with the same approach, which has to be completely different. Acute, yes, I broke my leg or I have something, infection in my in whatever system or gallbladder or whatever, they can take care of it. But if I have chronic something, autoimmune, something that systemic low-grade inflammation, because there is like a gut issues or whatever, our medical system, you cannot just do one approach. Let me give you antibiotics and you'll be good. No, you have to look at from so many different angles. And I love when you said, because sometimes when I do genetic testing on my clients or look at their blood work, and you look at them outside, like I just did a couple of months ago, my client who you look at her, you're like, oh my God, I want to look like her. Gorgeous, just beautiful, lives the healthiest lifestyle, has a private chef, has a personal trainer, has her Pilates instructor. I mean, I'm in LA, so it's not hard to get like Hollywood people. So, you look at her, but and then at the end, when I look at her genetics and I looked at her blood work, I was like, I'm like 3 of her size, and I've never had that bad blood work ever in my life. But and then it comes with like a genetics, like, oh, there was an explanation why her body was doing, like why her cholesterol was so high, even though she's like 120 pounds, but because there is an explanation, there is the aha moments, like, okay, now we know this, we can transfer it, we can take different approaches, not just to mask, put a band-aid on your symptoms, but find out deep down, foundationally, what changes we can make that would have the upstream trickling, reactions. It's like, what you call in English, the ripple effect. Thank you. But there was this game you guys play.
Dominoes.
Dominoes, that's it. Sometimes I forget my English.
No, I do too. So it has nothing to do with the language barrier.
But yeah, you will have this domino effect. So looking a person as a whole, not just your neck hurts, let me work there. No, like sometimes my clients say, that's not what it hurts. Like where I go work on, let's say the neck hurts, but I work somewhere else, but like, that's not where it hurts. I'm like, yeah, I know, but that's where your pain is coming from.
Exactly.
You know, it's just looking underneath the surface. And that's what makes it so much fun. Because when the clients say, oh, I have a challenging case, I'm like, this is so
I
cool.
know, it's so juicy. You're like, oh, I get to explore.
Totally. And that's such a learning, like I learn from every client. So I love it.
Ooh, okay. That's gonna be another one of your we're just gonna pile on the superpowers today. So another one of your superpowers is the fact that you do like to explore, that you like a good challenge, that you don't see it as a wall. You're like, oh, this is an opportunity. And in my mind, I don't know a lot of people like that. Most of them are entrepreneurs because that's how the entrepreneurial mindset just works. But if you think of many people in your life, how many people are open to discovering versus just wanting to go, okay, I'm done, I give up.
Yeah, throughout the years, you know how we like evolve, we grow, and it comes, I love that saying where it says people come into your life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime.
Yes.
And we kind of sometimes outgrow even friends. Not because we don't like them anymore, it's just our approach to life, our outlook to life is completely different. And so I'm fortunate enough that I've surrounded myself throughout the years with people that are similar, like they're better than me. So I want to be like them. So I learn from them. Or some, they look at me, they're like, oh, I want to be like you. I'm like, oh my God, this is like responsibilities to be good.
Are you feeling called out, Masha? Do you remember us doing that? Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Audie, we had sent messages back and forth to each other going, oh, I love and admire you for this. I want to be like, grow up to be like you. And this is so fun. The feeling is short.
Yeah, and it's fun, it's like I say, if I didn't have to work, I would just take so many classes. I just want to learn, different languages. And I want to just, learn different things. And I don't know, to me, that's what I love. It's fun.
That'll be a great question for the audience too. If you could do anything in the world with the rest of your time, like what would you do? If you didn't have any worries of the house or the car or whatever, you just did whatever you're passionate about, what would it be?
Money is not an issue, time is not an issue.
Exactly.
Free of anything, yeah.
Would you keep doing the work that you do, Audie?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, 100%. That's one of the things, I can't imagine doing something that I didn't like. Like I see people around me, my sisters, she, like when she's like, oh, I hate my boss, or I have to go to her, I'm like, how can you do that day after day? It doesn't matter, like I said, I've been doing this almost 30 years, and it's always been, I say, it's consistently inconsistent.
Yes.
But I love it. I can't imagine doing anything else. The only thing is, then it comes to a point like, okay, I have to either grow or you can't stay static. So what is the growth? And for all of us is different. Like for me, just before COVID happened, I'm like, thank the universe, because December of 2019, I decided to close my clinic and move across the street and just rent a room from a doctor's office and just work 3 days a week so I can concentrate on creating an online course or, doing stuff online, because my ultimate goal is to be able to travel and just be able to work, do webinars or online courses, teaching, speaking, so I can do all that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, that's my future growth. That's what I'm looking forward to. For some, it could be, making their practice bigger, bringing other people to work for them. That's just not for me. I've tried that. I did that. No, I'm more of a, I want to just pack my bags, and rent an apartment in Tuscany and book a cooking tour and learn how to make this amazing food and drink wine. And I can carve out an hour or two a day to do webinar and teach and go speak somewhere. And just, hire some hunky Italian to teach me Italian and to be like what's the movie Under the Tuscan Sun?
Goodness, over here watching a viewing a vacation, we're like, wow, let's go.
Tuscany is my dream vacation. And like, if you looked around, okay, I'm packing, half things are off my wall. But if you did look around my house a couple months ago, you'd see images of Tuscany and the woods, the warm woods, the dark woods, the earthy colors.
Oh, I love it.
Right? Like the slightly purplish red, that's just, yeah.
Yeah, Italy and south of France are just have the warmest place. I love it, and I've traveled all these little towns and just hanging out with locals, and I love it. To me, that's life. It's not about how big your house is. It's not about, how expensive your car is. No, to me, it's like what I've been, what experiences, what I saw, and it's just, I love it. What you? When I'm saying something and you sneeze, we say, I'm saying the truth, like that's the truth.
That's true.
Thank you.
We did that once earlier this week. In my head, my daughter always makes fun of me. She's like, your sneezes are so cute. And then she'll come and try to wiggle my nose. So every time I do it, I play that video of her coming from wherever she is in the house, going, oh, it's just so cute. Yeah, that's my daughter. So Ani, you had mentioned that you were liking speaking. And I know that you're a part of Blue Talks now, and that you get to be in a book. Like, why have you chosen these kinds of ways to share your message?
Like I said, I have so much passion to helping people get out of pain. And yes, I do that working with my clients in my office or helping them, over Zoom. But I want to reach to larger audience. I want to not just be in LA or in US. I want to be able to just teach people because, it was interesting. One time I was at this webinar and there were about 23 people there. And I was just doing a survey. Out of the 23 people, 33% of them, and these are the ones spoke out, live with chronic pain. 33% out of 23 people. And like I said, these are the ones actually came out and just said that they're living with chronic pain. Imagine how many don't say it. Yeah. So, all these people like living with chronic pain, if I can teach like one technique or tell you something or give you some suggestion, that one little thing you change in your lifestyle choices and that makes a difference in your life, I love that. I just love that.
Both my parents have fibromyalgia, also some other issues on top of that, but that's the big one. My husband lives with chronic pain. I did at one point for 3 years after my accident. And after about the first year, it stopped being actually physical. For me, what was left of my chronic pain was actually emotional. So I was just bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. And so it forced my body into the tension, which still felt like the exact same pain.
Absolutely.
I think I tried over 50 different modalities to try to just do anything for this. And it was once I realized that it was my mind doing it, and then the inflammation on top of it. But my mind first, I went, oh, and I changed that relationship to it, which was huge. My husband, on the other hand, is not that. His is very much physical, and same with my parents. That's okay. So I get this whole very individual approach.
Yeah, and like I said, when it comes to chronic pain, your approach has to be very, from just looking at different angles. And sometimes we have practitioners like acupuncturists will send me a client. And then, I will say, okay, these are my findings. or the doctors, I would like, whatever, if I'm doing the genetic testing, I would say, okay, ask your doctor to run this test because this is what showed up. Or, we just kind of work together because this one person, that's why I love collaborating with other doctors because it's not about, oh, competition or me stealing your client or you're stealing my client. No, it's about the ultimate goal is helping that person.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter who does. If my client I send to someone else, then they feel like the other person is helping them more, please go. Because next time when something happens, you're gonna send someone else to me for what my strengths are.
Exactly.
And so I don't look at it, oh, competition, I'm not gonna refer you. Other massage therapists refer me clients. My clients have their own massage therapists because I do not do massage, but I do specifically pain, very unique techniques.
So really, that brings us to a really good question. And what are your specific, what are the favorite clients that you work with? What are some of the, the differentiating factors to why somebody would go specifically to you and seek you out?
Well, like I said, a lot of times people come to me because they've already been to different doctors and practitioners. So, well, I love working with neck pain because a lot of times, like I've seen in my office, like over 85–90% of the clients with neck pain is due to their jaw, tight jaw, because they clench, they grind, tight tongue. They're like, my tongue is tight. So I put gloves on, go inside the mouth, I would release the jaw muscles, I would release the tongue muscles. And without even like doing anything for the neck yet. And all of a sudden, my face gets so relaxed. Like, it's like, huh. And that I love that stuff. And that's what like my online course is on, because those are like the techniques that I can actually teach them, self-help techniques. And one day a client of mine, I was in San Diego at a seminar, a client of mine texts me, she's like, we're driving in Midwest and my daughter woke up and she cannot turn her neck. Is there anything you can do? I'm like, well, I can slip out of my seminar. You can get on a video call with me. So we got on video call. I walked her daughter through a couple of techniques and her neck, like right away, you could see 50% increased range of motion. And I was like, how cool is that? Like I help her because now she's not going to be, they're on vacation, they're driving. Imagine the daughters, I don't have kids, but imagine the daughter is like constantly, oh, I'm in pain, like she's not going to have fun. And that's going to affect everyone else's mood or what they're going to do. So that's why I love like teaching people techniques so they can use it whenever, either as a maintenance tool or as a preventative tool. It's like having this whole arsenal.
Okay, so then this would be really fun and interactive since I decided this is a more interactive day. Can you give us one kind of technique? It's very simple that we could do in like a minute or so.
Oh, absolutely.
The audience can also do with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is just take your couple of two fingers or 3 fingers and go and just kind of pulp it like on your jaw, up and down. Do you feel any, we call it like crepitus or tightness? And then also pay attention, do you feel the difference between right and left? Is one side tighter than the other?
Yes.
Okay, so have that in mind, okay? Now, all I want you to do, you're gonna take your thumb behind your mandible. When you put behind the bone, there's like a little soft hollow spot, right?
Mhm.
Okay, you keep your thumb there. Now, all you're gonna do, keep your head neutral, because a lot of times when I teach people, they end up doing this. Like, no, just keep your head neutral, keep your thumb there. All you're gonna do, push your tongue, tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And feel what happens under your fingers. It becomes rubbery, thicker, right? And just keep it right there for about 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds. Just do that. Push your tongue, give just like a tiny, tiny little push here. And hold for another about 15 seconds. There. Okay, you can let go. Now go back and check this again.
My tongue feels funny.
I feel that in my neck.
Wow.
Do you feel the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is good.
Every time. So that's just one of the techniques. What it does, it relaxes your muscles of mastication, your chewing muscles, like your masseter, your temporalis muscles. It relaxes that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's just one technique. There's like so many
Oh, yeah.
different techniques. But okay, just one more thing. Again, very quick. Next time you feel like, you know, what happens when a stress comes on? A lot of times people start breathing shallow, right? Chest breathing, then it tightens, everything crumps up here.
Yeah.
So whenever you feel stress coming on, all you do is turn your head, whichever the direction of your dominant hand is. So if you're right-handed, turn your head to the right. If you're left-handed, turn your head to the left. Try to drop your shoulders. And now you can do the same technique what I just taught you, this, or you can just collect some saliva in your mouth, hold it for about 10 seconds, and swallow. And then come back. So a couple of things happens. When you turn your head to whatever your dominant side is, it breaks the pattern of this tightening up. That's first. See, you're yawning. That's a sign of release.
Yeah, my body yawns to process.
Me too.
Yeah.
I do that too. So the second thing, when you swallow, the action of swallowing, you have the vagus nerve, which is your 10th cranial nerve. When you stimulate that nerve, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and which is very calming, relaxing. So the function of swallowing, it stimulates your vagus nerve.
Oh, yes.
And it calms it down. Since I taught that technique to one of my clients, like on since then, whenever I'm in a stressful situation, my neck never tightens up or jaw, I don't clench anymore.
Nice.
So yeah, try it.
Yeah, Masha caught me earlier. One of the things that I do is I do work with my vagus nerve. I learned that as a part of this whole 50 different modalities. I came up with my own system, which I can tell you all about behind the scenes. It's a
Oh,
little
love to.
But one of them is I love to sing power vocals because it forces me to do a little bit more of the diaphragmatic breathing. It also works those neck muscles at the same time.
Yeah,
Because the different notes, like I'll go as high as I can and as low as I can. So that I get that full range of just muscle.
yeah. Even like, you know, singing, gargling, splashing cold water, humming, all those stimulate your vagus nerve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Really cool. Yeah, I just did a workshop with this Yoga for Life company. And our concentration was on diaphragm, vagus nerve, and phrenic nerve, which most people don't even talk about or know what it is.
is that
But
the one on your neck?
phrenic nerve starts on your neck.
Yeah.
Both sides, goes all the way down and innervates in your diaphragm, and it controls your diaphragm. So every time, like if you ever had a hiccup,
Yeah.
phrenic nerve irritation, or if you ever, like if you were a runner or if you run, you know, sometimes you get that stitch on the side of, that's a phrenic nerve irritation. But no one ever talks about it, and it controls, you know, your breathing. It can affect your, you know, diaphragm, how it functions. Because most of the time people talk about the vagus nerve, like, yeah, when it comes to breathing, your phrenic nerve is so important.
Okay, then you are probably the perfect person to ask this question because I can't tell you how many people I've asked. I get this thing, and if you go back through the videos, you'll see me doing it. All of a sudden, like I have a heart murmur, but all of a sudden my body will gasp. So I'll just, in the middle of conversation, go, and that's about it, but it happens a lot. And of course, the more anxious I am, the more it happens, the quicker all of that. Why does it do that?
Well, it's somewhat it has to do with your vagus nerve.
Okay,
Because, okay, you have heart murmur, but that shouldn't cause any of that. But whenever you're anxious, your vagus nerve reflects your heart rate. It reflects your breathing, your digestion.
Yeah.
Because, it's called the wandering nerve. It's the longest cranial nerve, the longest cranial nerve that starts from your brain stem and then goes down to your heart. Actually, it goes down behind your ear.
yeah,
So if you massage behind your ears, or sometimes I'll tell a client to put their middle fingers into just like inside the ear. Yeah,
there,
right there.
yeah.
That would also stimulate, or in my office, sometimes I put a vibrator right behind the ears, just stimulate the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. One thing you can do, okay, this is like really quick. I'm gonna teach you how to release your diaphragm. And if you can do that before you get on any talks or anything, try that. You can do it sitting down, laying down, standing up, doesn't matter. And you always do both sides.
Okay.
Very simple. So you turn your head, doesn't matter which side you start off with. You turn your head to one side. Let's say I'm turning to the right side. Your left arm, without tilting your body to the side, your left arm, you're like reaching down towards the floor.
Oh.
And then you're gonna do very deep belly coughing, about 4 or 5, like this. Like it has to be rolled kind of from.
Yeah.
So then you turn your head to the opposite side.
Mhm.
So it's left side now, right arm reaches down. And you go cup, cup, cup. About 4 or 5 times. Like, that's great. That releases your diaphragm. So in the office, I have clients when I like palpate, because your diaphragm attaches to your rib cage, 6 to 12 ribs. So
Yeah,
I will palpate about 6 to 9 ribs, and they're like withdraw, or they're like, oh no, 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 I'm ticklish. This is awesome.
perfect.
So sometimes I do the technique, or I walk them through a technique, and then I go back palpate, and like, did you touch the same spot? Or did you use the same pressure? Kids love it because they're like, I'm not ticklish anymore. So that releases the diaphragm. So try that.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. I am gonna try that a few times. And it's funny because now I have like this tingly feeling, but it's
Oh,
more like an excited tingling.
Exactly, that's normal. Sometimes with these techniques, you can get lightheaded. Because now we're working with your central nervous system level. That's where we work. It's not a muscular level. It's not like structural. We're working with the central nervous system level.
Yeah.
And some of these techniques actually rebalances your efferent, afferent communication with your brain. So yeah, sometimes the clients are like, I'm a little lightheaded. Like, yeah, that's totally normal. It will go away. But
I
yeah.
love that. Thank you so much. Oh, you're like the only answer ever. Ah.
And I mean, oh my gosh, that was so cool. It's so cool to watch you in action too. I feel like during interviews, you don't get an opportunity to do that, to see the person actually like leading us through exercises.
Yeah.
And I have a question. So we're talking about amplifying your message, and there's something that you said that kind of caught my attention. You said, you love working one-on-one with clients, and then at the same time, you want to amplify your message. You want to put your message out there. You want to reach more people. So if you could yell something from a rooftop, if you could have everybody know one thing, what would that be? What is the most important thing that you would love all of your clients and potential clients to know, and all people in general?
And I love that question, because one of the biggest things is never learn to live with pain.
Ooh.
I don't care, sometimes people come to me, it's like, my doctor said that's normal for your age. No, nothing is normal. I don't care what age you are. Just never learn to live with pain. They're like, I've tried everything. No, you didn't. You tried a couple of things and yes, maybe they didn't work, but find someone that will be able to help you. And there is someone that can help you. Maybe it's not me, maybe it's someone else, but never learn to live with pain. That's my like biggest thing.
Amazing.
I love that part of, but people are telling me it's normal. Just because it's normal doesn't make it okay.
And what's normal? Who says what's normal?
Exactly,
You
exactly.
know? Like I'm Armenian. I grew up in a culture of you're a girl, you have to get married, have children, very male dominant culture. I didn't grow up in that family. My dad is Egyptian Armenian, so mostly, women in our family in the 70s, they were smoking, they would wear pants. In Armenia, my dad would wear shorts and they would make fun of him, like, can't you afford to buy long pants, man? But it's like very different. But I grew up in that type of family, but I don't know, like to me, it's whatever I think is normal for me, that's what I'm gonna do. And if it doesn't look normal to you, it's totally okay. There is no guidelines to follow what's normal. No.
I love that. I'll make my own normal.
That's it. Do what's normal for you.
Okay, I want to know one thing before we ask you how we get in contact with you. You're out there, you're sharing your message. It's so important to you, as Masha said, you want to shout it from the rooftops. I want to know what your most uncomfortable form has been of sharing your message, but you did it anyway.
Okay, I have a story. So,
Okay.
I came from Armenia, born and raised the former Soviet Union. English wasn't one of my languages. It was Armenian, Russian. My school was French. In our family, Arabic, Turkish. Even though my dad spoke English, but I didn't know any when I moved to America, and I was 20. I moved in January '92, and then February I turned 22. So my early 20s is like a kind of like a days. I don't remember that much because I had to learn new language, new culture. So I'm going to school to learn ESL, English as a second language, but I also had to take speech class. So the teacher says, well, we need to prepare for our first speech, and it's about cult. I'm like, oh, cult. I grew up, my grandma was a very like well-known seamstress in Egypt. And I grew up making my own dresses, my own skirts. I'm like, God, that would be so cool. I can make it like really fancy, plaited, color, whatever. The 2 days before our presentation, my classmate calls me. She goes, what cult you're gonna do your presentation on? I'm like, no, it's cult. She goes, no, cult. I'm like, what's a cult? I mean, I have no idea what cult is. She's like, cult. And then she tells me, I'm like, oh, I knew nothing about it. So I rushed to, it's early 90s. I rushed to the library. I'm getting book on what the heck is cult. So when I got up to do my first presentation, I swear I could feel my knees knocking against each other. Like I was sweating. My heart was like, I could see that moving. My knees were knocking against. I never forget, that was my very first presentation ever in my life. But now sometimes I go to networking events and people are like, oh, our presenter didn't show up. Can you do something? I'm like, oh yeah, no problem.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
I know, it's like I came a long way, but yeah, that was cult. Now I never forget what cult is.
You're making me want to make a coat though. My mom was a seamstress too, and she used to work at a bridal shop. So I grew up making my own clothes as well because I didn't like things in the shop.
Until now, like I have my awesome sewing machine. I used to knit my sweaters and I even like used to crochet. My grandma taught me how to crochet. But sometimes like when I buy sometimes skirts or pants or whatever now, like I can do alterations. I can like make it like different, little fancy. So it's fun to know.
You did. So then, Ani, how do we reach you? How do we get a hold of you?
So the best place would be my website, which is Lost Stop for Pain, and 4 is a numeric 4. Yeah, there I have some resources people can download or, book a complimentary session with me. Definitely, if they have any questions, I'll be happy to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, so